Oh my days. I've literally just come here from the full-time whistle. Well, not the full-time whistle, the end of the match. Sharks against Munster. Oh my goodness. My immediate thoughts following the full-time whistle. Please give me yours. I've got so many thoughts in my head right now. Spoiler alert, I'm going to give you the score in case you've stumbled across this video and you don't want to know. Sharks are in the semi-finals. 24 all after full time. The teams could not be separated on points, on tries, and in the end they could only be separated by one kick in a URC first, a penalty shootout. And those Munster fans, well, in fact, both sets of fans, my heart rate, what is it? My heart rate is now, so I'm sat, it's 100. Yeah, 98 is my heart rate, and that was mad. That had it all. But yeah, if you are a fan of Munster or the Sharks, oh my goodness me, how are you feeling? How are you doing? A couple of years taken off your life. Right, give me your thoughts in the comments down below. There is so much to talk about with that one. And it just feels like the main thing to talk about should just be the emotion and the occasion and the tension. At times that was low on quality, but so high on tension. That is what you want knockout rugby to look like. Little moments feeling like big moments. Massive consequences, huge effort. The absolute guts of Munster to hang on and take it to penalties. And then the nerve of the Sharks, particularly that young man, Bradley Davids. Or Davids, sorry. He's so young, he's relatively unknown to me. I'm not sure how I should be saying his name, but he deserves not to buy a drink. He came on for the final 30 seconds of the match and then nailed 2 kicks, which ultimately, well, were part of, it was 1 miss out of the 6. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Fair play URC for delivering. Seriously, seriously good. Right, yeah, leave your comments leave your thoughts in the comments down below. You know what I'm trying to say. Right, I'm going to have to address this first. Incredible match, 2 such brave teams. I am going to have to just briefly, and I'll give him credit for nailing 2 incredible kicks at the end there under serious pressure. I didn't like Jaden Hendrickse. Did not like that at all. One of the things I love most about rugby, and I found this, in fact, funnily enough, with Irish and South African fans in that very stadium, Kings Park in Durban, it was like the most amazing example of what rugby is incredible at. And that is like proper, I'm on the pitch, that Ireland-South Africa test match was amazing. Last minute drop goal and all of that. That was 2 teams going 12 rounds toe to toe, 2 heavyweight prize fighters. In the stands, it was massively passionate support for their team, but there was class with it. There was class. As soon as the final whistle went and the result was done and Kieran Frawley knocked over that last-minute drop goal to win the match, every single Springbok in the crowd, like for about 10 seconds, like, oh, man. And then they turned to the nearest Irish person next to them, shook their hand, said, let's go to the bar and have a drink. Not just the bar, let's go to the beach club at the end. Let's go to the bouncy castle or the swimming pool at the other end. That's what rugby is about. That is one of the things I love most about the sport. It is the most gladiatorial, physical, brutal sport there is. There's artistry in there as well, but fundamentally it's about physical domination. It's about brutality, and that's what we love about the sport. And yet, at the same time, it's about, I don't know, just having a bit of class. Winning in the right way and losing in the right way. And that's what rugby does better than anything. It's one of the reasons this channel exists, because it's one of the things I love about the sport, along with the actual action on the pitch. Jaden Hendrickse, acting like that was bang out of order. His kicks were amazing. Sharks were the better team. He played a good game, particularly in the second half. He really controlled things. So I don't want to take anything away from that, but I just want to get out ahead. And as I say, most of what I'm talking about in these first few minutes is emotion-based. And yeah, my blood pressure was up for the games he was playing. And there's an element where I'm going, at the same time I'm going, that's quite funny, that's quite cheeky, that's like top tier shithousery, but it's just not right. It's just not on. And the little wink he gave to Jack Crowley, bang out of order. Fair play on the kicks. Team deserved to win. Gone down in my estimations. Jack Crowley, I mean, fair play. The way he dealt with that was, well, it was top tier shithousery from Hendrickson. It was top tier mentality from Jack Crowley. So that just takes ever such a little bit of a shine off of the way it ended. But it just means we've got a pantomime villain now in what was a pure theatre, pure rugby theatre. And again, I can't go any further into this video without just mentioning Peter O'Mahony, without mentioning Stephen Archer, Kilcoyne, Conor Murray, who nailed his kicks. His kick. He didn't get the chance to nail the last one because it was done by that point. But yeah, like incredible servants to Munster Rugby. And man alive, with their teammates, did they put in a shift today? 100 up for Lukhanyo Am's a great achievement as well. And it was his team that I think they did deserve to win. Munster, if you want to keep that boxing analogy going, they were on the ropes for the last couple of rounds, just hanging on. And the way they hung on was amazing. Oh, tell me, hey, if you disagree with me on the way that ended, if you think I'm being too prudish and too, some people get frustrated by the whole rugby values thing. If you think that's the case, totally fine. But that's just the way it is. But there you go. I'd love to have. But I mean, do you know what? Munster, I mentioned they've been through this before. 2022, they got knocked out in a penalty kick shootout as well against Toulouse. I was in the ground on that very day. I was working for BT Sport, and so I was stood directly just behind the Munster players as they were all stood arm in arm watching the kicks, unfortunately not go over for them that day as well. And that was the day, by the way. In fact, that was the match when Cranberries and Zombie became a thing, because it was played in between full-time and extra time in that match in the Champions Cup, and the crowd just went off. I think it might have been used at Thomond Park before that. But anyway, they played Cranberry by the Zombies in the Aviva Stadium, and it went off. And then, of course, we know what happened to that song, Rugby World Cup, Rassie, all the rest of it. I bet Rassie was absolutely loving that match. And he definitely got to see some of his box putting in a proper shift as well. Ethan Hooker looks a class act. He really does. And when the Sharks weren't playing well in that first half, he was the one player that was reliable, not dropping balls and just doing things. God, let's go right back to the start then. Whew. Calvin Nash got that try early on, didn't he? That was a Kilgallen break. And Ian Costello, before the match, he talked about how Munster, the important thing for them is in the transitions. When there's a loose kick, being able to then just drop the hammer and go for it. And every time Munster were brave, it more often than not paid off. And to the point where there were times in the game when you thought they should be taking more risks because they're going a bit too safe and it's playing into Sharks' hands. That Nash try was absolutely brilliant. Kilgallen with a great break from a poor kick from the Sharks. Calvin Nash on the other wing, beautifully found by Jack Crowley. Great try, 10 minutes, and it's 7-0. Crowley with the little touchline conversion as well. But then Crowley misses a kick off the tee, and there's so many little moments in rugby games. You don't want to pick on many, but in the context of the match, you think of Crowley missing that 3-point kick. You think of the Sharks previously within the 80 minutes. In extra time, when they had an opportunity to go for posts and they went for the corner and it didn't work out. That could have been a moment that we were looking back and talking about it. The fact is that game just had absolutely everything. It felt like a knockout match as much as anything because there were lots of errors, there were nerves, there was tension, there was massive shots going in. There was a lot of territorial battle, and yeah, you love to see it. 30 minutes in, and Ethan Hooker had made a break for the Sharks, but other than that, they kind of messed everything up. The hands have been really bad. 9 handling errors in the first 30 minutes. You could have put like the Benny Hill music on over that match. And it was still 7-0. Best passage for the Sharks in that first half. It was Mapimpi carrying hard. Etzebeth again. It was snuffed out with Tadhg intercept on his own line. Tadhg, what a warrior. That man had turnovers on his own line. He had interceptions on his own line, and Sharks got burned in every sense. And Munster survived that pressure at the end of the first half, but you knew it was a little bit like the Bulls game earlier against Edinburgh. There was enough in the final moments before half-time that you kind of knew the onslaught was coming. The scrum was getting on top. And again, that's one of the other lessons, which if South Africa hadn't already taught the world, then the Sharks just gave another bit of re-education on the fact that can't scrum, can't win. And take the scrum penalties out of that match, Munster win the game. And arguably, within the 80 minutes and certainly within the 120 minutes, you thought that the scrum dominance that Sharks had should have been enough to get them ahead. But, yeah, it was, amazing try, wasn't it? It was the Chichuka offload. Ethan Hooker with the try. Absolutely awesome try. Wheels from Hooker. He looks like such a player. And then a penalty as well, 10-7. But outstanding attack from Munster. This is when they sort of like went, do you know what? We're behind now. We can't sit on a lead. We need to go and play. And as soon as Munster played, that try was absolutely awesome. The small tip passes on the gain line, punching holes, try for Wycherley, absolutely brilliant. The Kilgallen try that came just moments later, that again playing coast to coast from a line out. Haley with a clever nudge. A trip from Mapimpi, and that's one of the other big moments. You thought, no, they've got. You're like, wow, what an amazing try! What a moment for Munster. Poor Makazole Mapimpi. It was one of those. Eben Etzebeth with a shiner. Weekend special. Fassi with a try. Scrum power at the heart of it. Nankervel with a crazy forward pass. Then that try from Mbata. Absolutely awesome. Scrum penalties, power coming on, and they just go over, and you think, right, well, now Munster are done, and somehow Conor Murray, 47 metres out, nails his kick, 24 all. We're into extra time. The benches have been emptied, with the exception of Bradley Davids. And yeah, there was a couple of moments in extra time where you were looking at Munster and they were fighting so hard. And there was one where like Etzebeth gives a forward pass and you could see the Munster players' faces. They go, yeah. And then they think, no, it's a scrum. And it was the same thing. It was like Tom Ahern did so well in defence, holding up one of the Sharks players, managing to get on top of it in a maul. Yeah, we've held them out. Oh no, it's a scrum. And yet they still managed to hold on. We got the penalty kicks. And fair play to come back to where I started. The guts and of those Hendrickse boys with the boot and that young lad, Bradley Davids. Fair play. I really feel for Rory Scannell, because another amazing servant to Munster, and that's harsh. It's cruel. That is the cruelty of sport, but it's also what makes the sport amazing, isn't it? That you are gripped more than watching any film. It's amazing. Absolutely loved it. I really, really feel for the Munster fans. I feel for the Sharks fans for what they've had to go through, but it does set up a European leg of the URC and a South African leg of the URC. Leinster Glasgow, Bulls Sharks, bring it on. But I don't think I can watch any more rugby for a little bit because I think I need to sit in a darkened room. And I hope all those players have a cold one, and the fans as well. Let me know what you think. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I appreciate your content. I hope you appreciate the content. See, my brain's fried. And if you appreciate the content, I really appreciate your support, and I would love it if you would help spread the word by subscribing and telling a mate and dropping a thumbs up, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying. I'll see you on the next one.